I'm going to reset the entire NHL with a fantasy draft, and we're turning the league upside down. After randomizing the order, the San Jose Sharks are going to get the first overall pick, while the Philadelphia Flyers are getting the 32nd. So now I'm going to quickly go over every single team so we have an idea of who's on every single roster. The Ducks have a solid forward core here, but the defense, it's a bit questionable, but I think Jacob Markstrom is going to be able to pick up the slack for this team. The Arizona Coyotes have two superstars in Jack Eichel and Matthew Tkachuk leading the offense, but outside of those two, it's really questionable. While the defense, Jacob Slavin and John Klingberg can definitely lead the way, but outside of those two guys, this team's not looking that great. But the one thing that is going to help this team is their goaltending tandem. Varlamov and Ottinger sharing the net together, that's going to pick you up some wins. Taking a look at the Boston Bruins, of course, Nathan McKinnon's going to be leading the way for them. And taking a look at their defense, Shea Theodore and Adam Larson manning that first line, I think this is going to be a pretty solid team. And with Marc-Andre Fleury in net, I don't see anyone on this team letting you down. Taking a look at the Buffalo Sabres, I don't think this team's going to be that great. Yeah, they got JT Miller leading the way for the forwards, but outside Josh Morrissey, this isn't really that great of a team. But they do got Vasilevsky in net, and he'll definitely steal you some wins. Taking a look at the Carolina Hurricanes, they got three solid lines they can run, and with Kaprizov and Malkin leading the way for your forwards, you're definitely going to see some success. On the defense end, you got Jonas Brodin and Alexander Pietrangelo leading the way, and in net, you got Connor Hellebuyck, so I think this is going to be a pretty solid team. Taking a look at Columbus, of course, they got Nikita Kucherov, Tim Stützle, Chandler Stevenson, just to name a few, and on the defensive end, they somehow still have Zach Werenski. I'm pretty sure I did this video last year, and he ended up on the Columbus Blue Jackets as well. So that's two straight games where I've reset the NHL, and somehow Werenski always ends up back on this team. And in net, they got Carter Hart, so we'll see what they can do. Calgary's a team I have a few questions about. The forward core looks great, but the defensive core outside of OEL and Pollock, I have a lot of questions about. But Robin Leonard will have to pick up the slack. If not, this team's not going to see any success. The Chicago Blackhawks are looking very mid. They have about 5 forwards that you can actually rely on. The defense, it's okay. It's not good by any means, but I mean, you got Rasmus Dahlin, so it can't be that bad. In between the pipes, you got Samsonov and Kosa. I expect this team to be at the bottom of the league. I'm going to keep it a stack. Taking a look at the Colorado Avalanche, this is definitely the best team we've seen so far. This team is just elite from top to bottom. Even the defense is fantastic. I don't know how they stole all these players. And in between the pipes, it's Darcy Kemper. Last time he was in Colorado, they won a Stanley Cup. Let's see if they can do it again. The Dallas Stars are looking like another elite team. This forward core they have is one of the best in the league. While the defense, it's not too bad. It's not great by any means, but it's definitely in the upper half. And the goaltending, they got Shesterkin, last season's Vezina winner, and I expect this team to make a run for the cup. This next team's definitely not going to be making a run at the cup, the Detroit Red Wings. Kopitar and Marchand's going to try to lead the offense, but taking a look at the defense, outside of Hughes and D'Angelo, I have some questions about them. But the most questionable part about this team is definitely the goaltending. There's no way you guys compete for a Stanley Cup with this tandem. Edmonton might have lost Connor McDavid, but they're going to be replacing him with Sidney Crosby, so I don't think that's a big loss. And the defensive core on this team is looking pretty solid. And in net, you got Thatcher Demko, Chris Dreger as the backup. I expect them to do their thing. If you were to judge Florida based off their first line, you would say they're Stanley Cup contenders. Problem is they only have a first line. Outside of that, they have no depth for the forwards. For the defense, they got 2 solid guys you can rely on. And the goaltending, they just don't have a top tier tender that can hold it down. Taking a look at LA, I don't know how you guys drafted such a bad team. You have about 5 forwards you can actually rely on. The defense is fairly mid, and you have Jordan Binnington in net. It depends what version of Jordan Binnington you get. If you get rookie Jordan Binnington, you have a chance at a cup. If you get last season Jordan Binnington, you're probably competing for the first overall pick. Another team that's looking like hot garbage is the Minnesota Wild. Sean Couturier, I'm sorry my guy, but you went from a bad team in Philly to a bad team in Minnesota. But I mean, they had the 2nd overall pick, so they must have someone good. And of course, that man's going to be Cale Makar. But outside of Cale Makar, this defense stinks. I'm not getting tricked by Seth Jones's overall. He's not that good. And in net, you got Cal Peterson. This is a team competing for the first overall pick. Montreal's going to go from being one of the worst teams in the league to one of the best. Kyle Connor, Lindholm, and Kreider is leading the way for you on the forward end, and Sandholm's going to be leading your defense. Outside of him, though, the defense isn't looking too strong. And with Mackenzie Blackwood being your number 1, I have a few questions about you guys. The only thing that matters about New Jersey is they brought Jesper Bratt back. I really don't care about the rest of this team, even though they are looking slightly elite. And with Allmark in net, I actually expect them to make a deep run. Yeah, no cap, this is actually a pretty good team. Taking a look at Nashville, I assume they're competing for the first overall pick. Because outside of Backstrom and Buchnevich, the forward core isn't that great. And the defensive core, you got 2 guys you can rely on, that's about it. But in net, you got Bobrovsky, the backup's Grubauer, but this team just can't win. The only thing saving the New York Islanders is their defense, because their offense stinks. The defense, though, of course, that's elite. You got Yossi, you got Pesci, you got Torrey Krug. You can definitely rely on those guys. And in between the pipes, you got John Gibson. But if you can't score, you can't win. Even after resetting the NHL, the Rangers are still going to be a competitive team. Trevor Zegras and DeBrincat are leading the way. Looking at the defense though, with Cam Fowler being your number one guy, yeah, that's not the best thing in the world. And with Kakinen in net, that's definitely a downgrade from Shesterkin. Looking at the Ottawa Senators, it looks like they want to bring back Josh Norris, and they also got Ovi on that first line, so that's going to be pretty deadly. Looking at the defense, Adam Fox is going to be the guy leading the way for them, and in between the pipes, they got Vincent Vanacek. Honestly, this team doesn't look that great. I think they can compete, but definitely not for a cup. Maybe for the first wild card spot or something. Taking a look at the team I'm controlling, the Philadelphia Flyers, I just want to mention the AI drafted this team. I did not draft this poorly constructed roster because my god, this has a lot of questions about it. They got some bright spots. They got some good young players. I don't know how I feel about them. Okay, this Penguins team is absolute garbage. Yeah, they have a great first line. The defense is very mid. Actually, I would say it's worse than mid. It's garbage. I mean, you got Dougie Hamilton. He can do his thing. But the goaltending? Did you just forget to draft a goaltender? Because there's no way this was the best you could do. I think the Seattle Kraken are going to be competing for a wild card spot. They have good players on this team, but they don't have a guy. They don't have the guy, if you know what I mean. San Jose should be competing for a Stanley Cup just because they have Connor McDavid. And with Samuel Girard and Bo Byram back together again, I expect this team to do some big things. And they also have a decent goaltender in Swayman, so they should do something here. St. Louis is probably going to get slept on in this video, but they got some great talent here. An amazing forward core. The defense is looking elite, although the third line could probably use a bit of help, but they got UC Saros in net and Scott Wedgwood backing them up. I expect this team to be in the top 5. But after hyping up St. Louis and looking at this Tampa team, I'm not sure if they'll be top 5 because they're looking elite. Kadri, Huberdeau, and Zuccarello together, I'm expecting them to do big things. The defense is looking elite on this team, although the left side definitely could use a bit of help. And with Soupy in net, I expect them to make a run for the cup. Toronto's taking a big hit losing Austin Matthews, but they're able to keep Mitch Marner around, so I guess that counts for something. The defense is looking improved, and with Tristan Jarry in net, I mean, that really just depends on what version of Jarry you get. My guess is Vancouver's going to be building for the future here, because outside of Landeskog, this team doesn't really look like they can compete for a cup. They got a great first defensive line, but outside that, it's not looking that great. And with Husso in net with no defense in front of them, I think you're going to struggle. Taking a look at the Vegas Golden Knights, they got an elite first line. Ryan O'Reilly, Patty Kane, Matt Boldy, I'm expecting them to do big things here. And the defense, it's looking real strong. And with Merzlikins in net, I think they could do some damage. We're down to the final 2 teams here. Winnipeg, they're looking fantastic. Look at all the X factors there. But can somebody explain to me how Cole Caulfield has that many X factors? The potential's there, but you definitely didn't deserve it, my guy. I'm just going to keep it a stack. The defense, it's looking great. You got Justin Falk leading the way, and in between the pipes, you got Alex Nedeljkovic. I'm not sure how far you can go with him in net. So taking a look at the Washington Capitals, the final team here, Austin Matthews, he's going to be leading the way here. I guess that's an upgrade from losing Ovi. Devon Taves, he's going to be helping lead the defense alongside Erik Karlsson, and in between the pipes, you got Matt Murray, and I think that's going to be your downfall. Now that we have an idea of who's on every single team, we'll simulate to the halfway point and then check every team, and then we'll check who's leading the scoring in each division. Before we simulate the season though, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to be dropping franchise videos throughout the course of NHL 23, so if you want to keep up with those, make sure you subscribe and turn notifications on. At the halfway point, leading the Atlantic is the Montreal Canadiens with a 27-13-2 record, while Colorado leads the Central with a 25-13-3 record. Over in the Metropolitan, New Jersey's doing their thing, 27-10-4, while over in the Pacific, the Anaheim Ducks are sitting with a 27-14-1 record. Taking a look at the leaders in each division, Patrick Kane's leading the way for the Pacific, 61 points consisting of 38 goals and 23 helpers, while Joe Pavelski's leading the Central with 21 goals and 33 helpers for 54 points. Over in the Atlantic, Kyle Connor's having a great season, 26 goals and 29 assists for 55 points, while Kucherov's leading all scorers in the Metro with 56 points. Now that we have an idea of how every single team's doing, I'll simulate to the end of the year. We'll take a look at every team's top scorer, and then we'll find out who's winning the Stanley Cup. When the season came to an end, the Ottawa Senators are winning the Atlantic Division with a 47-24-11 record, while the Winnipeg Jets are claiming the Central with a 45-31-6 record. Over in the Metro, New Jersey holds on. They're taking it with a 51-26-5 record, while Seattle's claiming the Pacific with a 48-31-3 record. So that means finishing first overall in the entire league is going to be the New Jersey Devils. Now I'm going to go over every team's top scorer. Max Pacioretty is going to be leading the way for the Ducks with 32 goals and 43 assists for 75 points, while Jack Eichel dominates with the Arizona Coyotes, picking up 101 points consisting of 47 goals and 54 helpers. Nathan McKinnon was a bit disappointing in Boston, only picking up 89 points, but JT Miller was even more disappointing, only picking up 61 points. To be fair though, you didn't have too much help, my guy, so I don't completely blame you. Dylan Larkin's leading Calgary with 82 points consisting of 27 goals and 55 helpers, while Evgeny Malkin's picking up 39 goals and 57 helpers for 96 points to lead the Canes. Johnny Hockey was looking looking pretty solid in Chicago, 36 goals and 57 assists for 93 points, while Mark Scheifele's going to be leading the Colorado Avalanche with 91 points. I'm actually a bit surprised by that, seeing as how much talent you had on this team. I was expecting you to do a bit better, my guy. Leading the Blue Jackets in some points is going to be Nikita Kucherov, 99, consisting of 42 goals and 57 helpers, while Bergeron's going to be leading the Dallas Stars with 82 points. Brad Marchand was dominating with Detroit, 42 goals and 55 helpers for 97 points, while Sid the Kid's leading the Oilers with 98 points. Great work, my guy. Tarasenko's going to be leading Florida, and I was expecting a bit more from him. 38 goals, 33 helpers, 71 points. Seeing as how much talent you had on your team and who you had around you, I was expecting you to have at least 45 goals. Over in LA, Jack Hughes is doing what he can, 32 goals and 53 assists for 85 points, while Cale Makar's leading the Minnesota Wild in points with 10 goals and 69 helpers for 79 points. Kyle Connor is becoming the second member of the 100-point club as he's picking up 40 goals and 60 helpers, while Buchnevich, he's having a very disappointing year, only picking up 68 points. But I can't blame you, my guy. You had no good players around you outside of Backstrom. Alright, I just want to mention I had scoring frequency on high. So Draisaitl only picking up 85 points. I can't control that. There's literally nothing else I can do. This game is so hit and miss with the scoring, it's ridiculous. Nick Suzuki's having a solid season with the Islanders, 25 goals and 53 assists for 78 points, but Trevor Zegras is picking up 95 points. Are you kidding me? Trevor Zegras is picking up 95 points, while Leon Draisaitl only picks up 85. This game is stupid. Alexander Ovechkin's proving he can still be an elite goal scorer, 61 goals, 36 assists, 97 points, you'll love to see it, while Brayden Point's picking up 17 goals and 68 assists for 85 points. Pittsburgh's going to have two guys in the 100-point club, but all we care about is Stamkos as he's leading the way with 105 points consisting of 41 goals and 64 helpers. Connor McDavid, of course, he's going to be in that 100-point club, it should be no surprise. 42 goals, 66 helpers, 108 points. I'm a bit surprised you only had 108 though. I was expecting you to have a bit more. Jonathan Marchessault, he's doing what he could with Seattle, 25 goals, 61 helpers, 86 points, while Artemi Panarin with the St. Louis Blues is picking up 90 points. Nazem Kadri's going to lead the way for Tampa, 46 goals and 29 assists for 75 points, while Mitch Marner's doing what he can in Toronto, picking up 90 points without Austin Matthews. Landeskog, you had no hope in Vancouver, so the fact that you picked up 68 points is pretty impressive, while Patty Kane, he's leading the entire league in points, 64 goals, 58 assists, 122 points. I wasn't expecting him to do that good. I thought he would do good with Ryan O'Reilly at his side, but I wasn't expecting that. It doesn't look like Matthews could fill Ovi's shoes as he's only picking up 56 goals and 43 assists for 99 points. And the final team, the Winnipeg Jets. Barkov, you did what you could with 79 points, but this team just wasn't it. Like I mentioned earlier, Patty Kane, he's leading the entire league in points with 122, while Drew Doughty's leading all defensemen with 91. And taking a look at goaltenders, Jacob Markstrom's at the top with 40 wins while posting a .910 save percentage and a .302 goals against. Taking a look at the Stanley Cup playoffs, honestly, I think I gotta go with the Vegas Golden Knights. Patty Kane's absolutely rolling right now, but if you do shut him down, then I'm kind of in trouble. But they do have a lot of guys that can step up, so I think they'll do some big things here. Alright, I clearly know nothing. Anaheim's taking us down in 5 games. I guess I gotta ride with the Ducks now because they're taking down the Knights. So here we are in the conference finals. The Anaheim Ducks are advancing in a clean sweep over Seattle, so they're taking on the Edmonton Oilers, while over in the East, the Montreal Canadiens are taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. When the conference finals came to an end, we got the Anaheim Ducks taking on the Montreal Canadiens. But let's take a quick look at what these rosters were comprised of if you don't remember. So looking at the Anaheim Ducks, they had great forward depth, but I'm pretty sure I was questioning their defense. It looks like they proved me wrong, and with Jacob Markstrom in net, I would take them as the favorite. Looking at Montreal, yeah, they got some great depth here on the forward core, probably the best in the entire league, but their defense definitely can't compete. And the goaltending, I was very surprised that this duo was able to make it this far. And yes, I am over Mackenzie Blackwood, but it shows Kyle Connor at the top. I don't know why that is, but just deal with it. When the playoffs came to an end, the Anaheim Ducks are defeating the Montreal Canadiens in 6 games to hoist the cup. Tyler Toffoli's leading all postseason scorers though, 10 goals and 21 helpers for 31 points, with Jacob Markstrom, he was absolutely elite. 16 wins, a .928 save percentage, and a .240 goals against. Who would have thought? The one thing I just noticed was Colorado didn't even make the playoffs. At the beginning of the video, I thought it was slam dunk Colorado was winning. But hey, I guess that proves the best team doesn't always win.